A Texas state senator who has held her seat for over 30 years is being challenged in the next election by Frank Pohlmeyer, the pastor of the Sutherland Springs Church during the 2017 deadly shooting. Here to talk about this is Travis County Republican Party Communications Director Andy Hogue and Tara Pohlmeyer from Progress, Texas. Andy, what are your thoughts after hearing Pastor Pohlmeyer is going to run as a Republican against incumbent Judith Zaffirini?
Well, it's about time. I mean, Judith Zaffirini has been in since 1987, if I recall, so it's about time somebody stood up to her our liberal vote record. I think South Texas is a lot more conservative than most people would agree, and we'll find out what happens once he gets running and poses a credible threat to Zaffarini's long-time hold on that district.
Tara, how much of a chance do you give Pastor Pohlmeyer? I mean, he has admitted that he has very little to none of political experience.
I think a little bit about Zaffirini. She was first elected to the Texas Senate in 1986, and since then she has been a tireless advocate for her community and her constituents in District 21. Back in 2012, during her last contested race, she won re-election with 68% of the vote and carried all 17 counties in that district. So I think what a Republican challenge right now means is that Democrats will have a little bit of a help when it comes to voter turnout in District 21, and eventually this will help us flip Texas in 2020.
Andy, you know, does Pohlmeyer, what sort of campaign is he going to have to run to make this a real challenge?
That's a very good question. I think he's got the name recognition. He's got the publicity factor going in his favor, but this is a huge district. It goes all the way from Laredo to Rio Grande City to Corpus Christi to even here in Austin. So that's a large swath of land. So I think it's going to have to be an education campaign where he or his campaign staff are going to have to find out what priorities SD 21 voters have and align them with Republican principles and just make it a messaging campaign about how Judith Zaffirini is not a true representative of the heart and soul of that district.
You know, Tara, a lot of times we talk about Democrats going after and challenging longtime Republican politicians who've held their seats for quite a while. Now the shoe's on the other foot for you guys. How do you handle this one?
I think really no one can compare when it comes to Judith Zaffarini's record. Really, she has almost perfect attendance during her time as a senator here in Texas. She has hands down been an advocate when it comes to education, voting rights, and health care, which are things that District 21 voters and Texas voters in general truly care about. She has worked across party lines to pass laws that benefit her district, and so she does take every challenge seriously, and I think this one will be no different. The takeaway here is that no one can compete with Judith Zaffarini's work ethic.
You know, Andy, Pohlmeyer has said Texas is on the wrong path. Does he have a point there?
Yes, he does. I think with Judith Zaffirini, it's an interesting case study because she's right smack dab in the middle of the Democrats. When you look especially at Mark P. Jones's liberal conservative scale, she's right in the middle of the Democrats. Republicans have the same, left to right spectrum. We have some Republicans that are more on the moderate side, some more on the conservative side, and I think Pohlmeyer is going to represent a more conservative leaning approach to the Republican brand, and this is something that he can make a big difference in if elected.
All right, well, we've got one race that has taken shape. We've got to wrap it up. Andy, Tara, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.